Is now former Jamaican international and a guy that we're not going to run over with a camera, unlike that idiot that ran over Usain Bolt after winning that. Lloyd Barker. Lloyd, welcome, my friend.
I got to tell you, man, I was watching that live, and I guess the camera didn't catch it live. They showed the replay, and man, oh man, I caught my breath, and I could not believe what I was watching. Unbelievable.
Yeah, thank goodness he wasn't hurt, because if he was hurt, boy, oh boy, I mean, that would have been a real sad way to win like that.
I guess he's superhuman after all. To be honest, that would have hurt, I think, 90% of the people that took that fall, but oh boy, good thing he came out unscathed.
What an athlete, what a great human being. He gives back a lot to the kids in Jamaica. I've read a lot of stories, so congratulations to both. Let's talk about congratulations to the Vancouver Whitecaps last night. I got to tell you, Lloyd, right from the start of the game, I was not impressed with the Impact at all. People are going to say, well, maybe because they were a man down, on and on. They just didn't look interested from the start of the blow of the whistle. Your thoughts?
It's, you know... It might be one of those games that was lost before it began. There's so much talk about the manager's status here in Montreal. So much talk about the uneasiness in the locker room. Of course, the whole situation with Drogba. Is he injured? Is he not? Is it because of turf? There's just so much in and around what really should just be, the simple part of everything is just playing the game of football. That I think these guys are distracted, and I just don't think that deep down they went to Vancouver with the belief that they're going to overcome what they had to, which essentially was to go there and win the game outright, or a high-scoring tie over 3 goals. I just don't suspect or sense that they had that belief to leave Montreal and to go to Vancouver and do that. And I think the end result was exactly what we thought it would be.
Let's give credit also to the youngsters there on the Whitecaps. I mean, Russell T-Bird, he's been on our show a number of times. What a game. Kakute Mene, to me, is going to be a guy that won't be too long here in MLS. He'll be over in Europe sooner than later. On and on, these youngsters, Kofi as well. What a game they had.
And don't forget, Tim Parker.
Yep.
The fellow that got man of the match, a fullback, and the 15th pick overall in this 2015 MLS draft. I tell you what, I did the game here in Montreal, and over the 2 legs, he was outstanding. They tried to pick on him, I think thinking, they did their homework, thinking, okay, it's a young boy, just left college. He's played about 7 or 8 games up to that point, and they tried to pick on him. Balls from all the way from right to the left. They were searching, trying to find Maxime Tissot. It didn't work. And then they tried Venegas over there. That didn't work. And the only time the boy got beat, that being Parker, in the first leg was when Justin Mapp came on and got by him and slipped in a cross over in the middle of the pitch. And other than that, he was outstanding that game and outstanding this game. And it speaks about what's going on in Vancouver. And I've said it a number of times, including on your show. I like everything that they're doing there. That manager, Robinson, deserves all the credit in the world, especially considering he was about 10th choice on the management's list of managers to bring in. But my oh my, have they made the right decision to keep him? You could see what it meant to the group when they all ran to him and hugged him and handed him the trophy at the end of it all. They just got a real bond in that group. And if you look at the ages and you mentioned the youth, this is not a one-off here. They're going to be consistent and they're going to be competitive for years to come because the core of this group is very, very young.
Well, when you got Laba and Maddox coming off the bench and not starting like last night, lights out. I mean, this is crazy a depth on their bench that they got, Lloyd.
It's outstanding. I mean, Robert Earnshaw didn't even see the pitch.
No.
He's up there in age, of course, but, I mean, on most teams, he could get in there and give you a 15, 20, 30 minutes, and he doesn't see the pitch at all for them. The fella Christian Dean that came back, he also didn't see the pitch. He came in the first leg and played at halftime, and he stood his ground and did all right. And Apollo Tanagi, he showed well in the first leg. These are players that did not play at all. And of course, you're talking about guys coming off the bench. Darren Mattox came off the bench, Laba came off the bench, and Mauro Rosales came off the bench. Those 3 players are starting players on any given team around Major League Soccer. And again, it's just reiterating the point that Carl Robinson has built a very deep squad. But in doing so, he's built a youthful squad, and there is experience there, no question about it. But these young boys, are really playing beyond their ages.
You mentioned Paulo Torneghi. He joined us last week right after that first leg, and he mentioned something about that locker room, that dressing room, where we talked about that there's a special synergy there. There's an energy, and he mentioned the youthfulness and a special mix of the veterans there. A lot of them hang out after the games. A lot of them are really trying to help one another. There's no egos there. And looking at the Impact, I got to be honest, Lloyd, I'm concerned that this squad is spiraling downward because of some of the egos, because of maybe some of the issues they're having. And I got to tell you, I don't know about you, but I said this from day one. When Enzo Conchino was brought in, he was destined to take over this team at some point. And I believe after a loss in Toronto, if it happens, he will take over. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Klopas is on borrowed time right now. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the one thing with, in you commenting on the locker room, I know firsthand the importance of a good locker room, a really tight locker room. And usually it's a locker room where people just, they don't talk about money, they don't talk about hidden agendas. Everyone is just on the same page. And that's really the best locker rooms, and those teams win. I don't know if that's an issue with Montreal, but I suspect that there are some seams that have come unfolded in that department within the locker room. In terms of, the manager, as it goes, every game the manager's job's on the line. But Frank Lopez, there's no question about it. He's at the last end now, the end of it all. It would be a shock if he was to continue on in his role if the team loses on Saturday, because the one thing to look at, and really, Anthony, you don't have to be a football genius or an analyst to look at things from a big picture standpoint when it comes to the Impact. The fact is they're terrible on the road. They have been since they've joined Major League Soccer, and they continue to be terrible on the road. So you needed a manager to be able to turn that fortune. And so far, Klopas in a season and a half has not shown the ability to do so. So that's one aspect. And what they always had going for them was the home form. It was terrific home form since 2012 in Major League Soccer. Very respectable, let's call it that. Now that is also gone. 4 games in a row without a win at home means you've lost that mojo, means you can no longer be considered dominant at home. They're now 5 games on the trot without a win. If they lose on Saturday against Toronto, which is very likely, of course, and very possible, now you're 6 games on the trot without a win, and now the manager's job's in trouble because you've lost stuff on the road, you're not better on the road, and now you've lost the mojo at home. So really, there's no leg for the manager to stand on. So from that standpoint, it would be a justified sacking. Who takes over? That's anyone's business, because we've been speculated for years that Mauro Biello is the head coach in waiting. And naturally, when Enzo comes in, he's more of an experienced manager, so you'd expect him to play a role. So, your guess is as good as mine, but I do know it's been said, years ago that Mauro Biello would probably be the successor one day to take the throne. When? We don't know. Is this the time? It's very, very possible. And Enzo and him would just be more or less side by side as the coach of this team. That's all speculation, so we'll see after Saturday game.
And I got a lot of time for Mauro. Wonderful player when he played. Absolutely electric in that midfield. Lastly, before we let you go, Lloyd, in the last minute we have here, I look at this Montreal squad since day one when they entered MLS. It's been a veteran side continuously, going back to Ferrari, Nesta, DiVaio, on and on. And yes, they've produced most of them that they brought over. But this squad, to me, looks like this is a squad that won't be able to continue to produce with this veteran side. I look at Hamel, I look at Crépeau and others. I saw Alessandro Ricci here in Toronto. I do the TFC2 games. The kid is unbelievable. There's some guys on that Impact 2 team that I believe should be given a shot. When is that going to happen?
That's a very good question. And we're talking about Vancouver, whose squad for me is just well balanced in that there is experience in the team, but they're littered with youth. And yeah, we don't have that here. And I think it's been proven as well. Again, speaking of the boy Tim Parker, who's 15th draft pick, and he's played 7-8 games up to this point. Montreal's 3rd overall pick in that very same draft, Romari Williams, has played all of 6 minutes on the year. And I just, it's just a different philosophy with the two groups. You could see the belief that other teams have in their youth. Montreal clearly does not have that for their youth players. Jeremy Gagnon-Laparé is a very good player. He's played 18 minutes this year. and the boy getting the most minutes is Jackson Hamel. And again, he himself is not, he might be out there every game, but it's a 15-minute here, it's a 6 minutes there. In fact, he's made seven appearances and played 124 minutes. So the youth aspect of Montreal has never been one that they've tried to lean on, and it's a fault. It really is, because you see other teams around the league, they rely on the youth, and it's worked.
Absolutely, and yeah, absolutely.
Against yesterday. So I'm with you. I mean, the veterans can take you so long, but you've got to have a balanced squad. And you look at yesterday with Rio Coker and Malice in midfield, and in Donadell, and you ask yourself, is this a team set up to win the game yesterday? And it just didn't look like it. Certainly not with those veterans that are there just to contain the ball and whatnot.
And again, you mentioned Biello. I think maybe if it is going to be him, I think he might go more of a youth-oriented squad, because, again, I love Enzo, and I got a lot of time for him. He's a dear friend. And Frank has been around the league a number of years, Lloyd, and maybe that's where they're comfortable, is that veteran-laden squad, because they've been through the roller coaster ride of different leagues in different countries. I don't know, but I would really like to see some more youngsters on this squad. Lloyd, thank you so much once again for taking time out of your busy schedule. Really appreciate it. I'm hoping to see you up here in Toronto if you make the trip. If not, listen, enjoy the match, my friend.
Thank you very much. It's in the plans to come up, so we'll see.
Well, I hope so. I'm in the press box, and I'm going to make a note to come and say hello to you. So, again, really appreciate you taking time. God bless, and have a safe trip if you come up here, Lloyd.
Yeah, Usain Bolt. Take care.
Take care. That is Lloyd Barker. What an outstanding character and guy he is. That's the type of guys we love having on our show.